PiratesFest going for you?
Really good. It's really good seeing familiar faces, seeing the new people, so it's really cool.
What's been your impression of seeing some guys that'll be in black and gold this year, some new faces?
Really good, just trying to, fulfill my rookie duties, do whatever I can now, help the guys out the best way I can. We got a good group of guys, and it's been really good meeting those guys, Mangum, and all the guys who came, Sis, so it's really cool.
What's your off-season been like so far?
Busy, man. I've been focusing on the body, making sure the body feels good, body feels strong. I've been able to put on some good muscle mass, so be able to continue on with that, have a good routine in place. I think I have a really good routine in place, so continue on with the routine and stay consistent with that.
Is that something that you just felt like you needed to get stronger, bigger, or something you've emphasized? What specifically did you feel like was the motivation for that this year?
Yeah, I think, when you're going into a new level in life, you got to prepare mentally, physically, and obviously the physical side, needs to be good. So make sure the physical is good, making sure I can withstand 162 games, on the body, and, mentally just making sure that, my mind's ready for whatever, the hardest challenge, getting ready for the hardest challenge and, knocking that down.
What are your goals going into the 2026 season?
Yeah, I think my job when I got drafted in 2022 was, to play for the Pirates. So, I think that's the main goal. I think that's what I got paid to do. So I got to fulfill my duties. But, I think the decision of when it happens, that's ultimately up to, the higher ups. It's not my job. My job is to go in there and play baseball. But, my job is to play for the Pirates. So getting ready to do that and staying prepared for that and win games. It starts with the first game. Win that first game, prepare for that first game, and then wake up, do the same thing over and over again, and, stay prepared mentally and physically, stay sharp.
Does it feel closer, more real now than maybe a year or two ago?
I think, every time that I work, it's always to be the best player in this game, So I think not necessarily worried about the timing of it. I know what my goal is at the end of the day, to be the best player. So, just working towards that is very important to me. Keeping that on the forefront of my mind, whether it's, you're doing it in the training room, or whether you're doing it in the FCL, or whether you're doing it in PNC, or whether you're doing it in LA, doesn't necessarily matter where it is. Just making sure that, you're focused on the goal, you're prepared for being the best player that day and winning the game that day. So, obviously it's getting closer. I think, the media and the fans and all the people, they're seeing it come, a little bit closer, and I'm excited just like you guys are excited. I'm very, very excited. I was excited when I got drafted. So, but it's really cool to just go through the process and, ultimately, finish the goal.
Termarr, how do you kind of feel like you've changed and grown in your years throughout the system as a player and, even just as a person as well?
Yeah, I think, just like I said, on the mental and physical side, getting stronger. I had a different body than I was at 18 years old, So just continue on to focus on what I need to do for my body. I'm still young, so I'm learning my body even more every single day. And on the mental side, just learning my calling, understanding what I'm in this game to do, what I'm supposed to do in this game, what God has for me. And, achieving that every single day, following his plan, He's ahead and I'm just following, his hand. So, just really just continue on with that, making sure that I'm in his will and in his way. And I'm going to, play baseball at the highest degree, try to be the best player.
Who you been working out with this offseason?
So I've been with my family for the most part. My oldest brother, Termarr Johnson, he throws me BP, hits me fungo, he does it all. He trains in college and pro, so he's been training me for all my life. And we've been going at it every single day, man. We get up in this Nissan Altima at 7 a.m. We go do Pilates, at 8 in the morning, and then I go do my lift from there, and then I go hit, and then we go do ground balls, and he's with me all day, so it's really cool to have somebody in my family. And also, my brother Tervell, who's at Alabama A&M, getting ready for his season, getting ready to play his season. And we just been training, getting after every single day, in the trenches, really doing it. So, it's really fun having a good support system around me, my family, and that's what keeps me going. So I really appreciate them.
Why Pilates?
You've been to a Pilates class, Beast?
Man. So my brother, he came back from Pilates one day, and he looked beat. I'm like, you didn't even do anything. I don't see no sweat on you. But, he was like, I got to take it for myself. and it was one of the hardest 50 minutes that I've ever had in my life. But it really felt good on the body. It worked on those spots that, I really couldn't get to in the weight room. So it was really cool just, adding that to the repertoire. Obviously we're going to continue on figuring out different ways, but Pilates this year was a really big, help to, what I've been doing.
Early on, you were splitting time, shortstop, second base. Now last year, pretty much full second base. How's that helping you toward your path getting the majors?
Yeah, I think it's been really good. You have a really good infield coach in Gary Green in AA. So, we put a little bit of emphasis on just one position, focusing on the footwork on that position and focusing on how to make plays in that position. I would say I'm pretty early on second base. I've always been a shortstop all my life. And I've always played around the infield, but put a little emphasis on the position that, the organization wanted me to play, and understanding that position, understanding my job, and every single day understanding what I need to do, and just honing in with Greeny has been really good. So I think we made some really good strides from that position. But obviously, he wants us all to stay athletic. So me being around the infield, me learning third base too, me learning shortstop, continue to learn shortstop while me continue to learn second base. It's just good to be in a baseball player. You want to be able to be everywhere in the lineup. You want to be in the lineup, so you want to do everything you can to, on the defensive side, on the offensive side, to be the best you can to win that game.
Termarr, you improved a lot against left-handed pitching last year. What went into that, and just what do you think were the main reasons why you were able to have better success against pitchers that would normally have more success against you?
Well, Mike Sosha, he was my manager for Team USA during the Premier 12, and he brought it to my attention. We focused on it, a little bit closely during the Premier 12. He gave me a little bit of pointers in terms of how to hit left-handed pitching, and it worked really well. I can't necessarily tell you what it is because me and his secret sauce, but it worked really well in terms of me hitting left-handed pitching.
What was it like to get involved in the Dream Series?
I've done it since I was 13 years old. I've always, they've been a big help in, my development and me being a professional baseball player. They kind of gave me a head start on, what to expect. And me coming back and helping the kids out, me giving them a little bit of pointers or some advice that can help them along the way, I think it's very important. It's really good to have the experience, but to be able to give it back to the next person is really important to me also.
Termarr, what can you say about having that infield partnership with Konnor last season, and how impressive was he just being able to play with him and seeing his growth in his first professional season?
He can play. Everybody knows that. He has everything to back it up, but the type of teammate he is, man, I enjoy being his locker mate. I enjoy being up the middle, and we had good conversations during the game. He kept me loose. I kept him loose. We had fun. I'm gonna be honest, man. We just had fun. So I think that was a big thing for us. We just kept it fun, and I think we could continue on the relationship. That relationship is strong, so we could continue on with that relationship. We could continue on it, in Pittsburgh. It'd be really, really cool.
I was gonna say, does that kind of feel like you guys could be the double play partners for the future?
Yeah, I think it's very important for us to be on the same team, regardless of where we're at in the infield, regardless of where we're at in the lineup. But I think it's very important for us to, I think where we're at right now, for us to play together. It was good last year. We can continue on with it, but us being on the same team, us helping Pittsburgh out. That's what we talk about all the time. We got drafted to play for the Pirates, so us doing what we can to help Pittsburgh out is very important to us. And I think we know what the goal is, and we're going to achieve it. I'm gonna help him any way I can. He's gonna help me any way he can help me. So it's gonna be really cool.
Is there, you were both high draft picks. You were 4, he was 9. And there's certain things that come with that, expectations. Having somebody like him, does that kind of help to both of you know what you're going through and what people expect and things like that?
For sure. I told him during the offseason, we was in Florida together working out, and I commended him on the things that he could handle, the things that he did handle at such a young age, and he's done a really, really good job with it. And he's going to continue to do it because he has a good family around him, and he has good teammates around him like myself to help him in any type of way. So I think it's really cool, for him to do what he's done at his age, and he's only going to continue to get better with it. This is just a small sample size of what you guys have seen, what you guys have seen out of the both of us. So it's going to be really cool.
How have you seen him handle the attention or the pressure that comes with being the consensus number one prospect in baseball? How have you seen him handle that? Because he was just named that by both Baseball America and Evergreen Pipeline this week.
I think he knows what the goal is. You know, it's cool being a #1 prospect. It's cool having all these accolades, and you know, it's cool having accolades. You know, it gives you something to keep you going at the end of the day. But I think he knows what the goal is. Play baseball, focus on the baseball, and one thing he did really well was just focus on the game every single day, regardless of him being the #1 pick, him being the #1 prospect, anything like that. He was focused on the game that day, and he did everything that he could to win the game that day. So that's really cool.
Thanks, Termarr.
Thank you guys.